Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So we're going to work on this little SuperDuo and Firepolished bracelet. So I've been playing with SuperDuos and my Firepolished beads because I have so many of them, and I came up with this little sort of component bracelet. But it's done all in one piece, so you're not going to be sewing components together. You're just going to keep adding them on as you go. So here's the sort of multicolored ones. I like these colors, kind of fallish colors. Pretty, huh? Oh, and there's a few Bicones in there too, 3mm Bicones, but not many. And you can substitute beads also, for some of the embellishment beads. Here's the blue one. Wow, look at that color. I love that color. These SuperDuos are from one of the collections, but I'm sure you can get them separately. All right, so I'm going to clear this off, get a materials list going, and we'll get started on this bracelet. So as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell if you want to get notified when I upload a video. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So you need some SuperDuos, and I'm using 3 different colors. I have a copper, this sort of emerald color, and I have this Bordeaux color. We're going to be making this pretty much a duplicate of this one today. This one I only use 2 colors, so just that sort of electric blue and the gold. So really you can use any combination you like. You'll need some 4mm fire polish beads, some 11/0 seed beads, some 3mm Bicones, or a little 3mm rondelle would work as well, like a 2x3mm rondelle. Need a clasp. I'm using this toggle clasp, this copper guy. A few jump rings. I have a stop bead, size 10 beading needle, and I have some 8-pound Fireline black satin. I think that's about it. Don't forget to check down in the description box for all colors, sizes, shapes, amounts of beads that you're going to need, places to purchase if you need some places to purchase, any info that I might have, any coupon codes. So I always have a coupon code for my big Ringberries mat, 10% off. There's a link to the No More Oops Bead Tray if you're interested in the No More Oops Bead Tray. Anything else I might have a code for, any other things that I use, places I like to shop and such. Okay, so I think that's it. So I'm going to clear this off and I'm going to get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about 5.5 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave about a 12 to 15 inch tail. I'm going to use that tail to put my clasp on, but if you want to put on a clasp separately, then just leave enough of a tail to sew in. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 3 SuperDuos in whatever color sequence you like, and then an 11/0 fire polish 11/0, and I'm going to repeat that until I have 4 groups of the SuperDuos with 11/0 fire polish 11/0 in between. So I have 4 of each. 4 SuperDuos, 4 groups of 11/0 fire polish 11/0. Okay, so I'm dropping those down. I'm going to sew it into a circle. So I'm just going to bring it around, and I'm going to sew up through the first bead after my stop bead, and then I'm going to continue on around sewing through all the beads again through that same hole. Here are the same holes we went through to reinforce. Coming all the way around. I'm going to pass the stop bead, like that, and I'm going to keep going a little bit until I get to one of the center beads of my group of 3 SuperDuos. So you want to be exiting that center bead. My center bead is that emerald color. Okay? So I'm exiting right here. Okay, I'm just going to let you get to that point and then come back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So this is what I have. So what I've done here is I've just taken, this is what it looks like, when you have everything on, and I've just taken that center SuperDuo of each group and I've flipped it into the middle because this is where we're going to be attaching beads. So at this point we're exiting this center bead on the bottom. Let me pull in a little bit more. Okay, we're exiting the center bead right here on the bottom. Just going to go through the top. I'm just going to move the piece a little bit. So here I'm exiting that top center bead. I'm going to pick up an 11/0 my my last SuperDuo, which is my third color, an 11-0. I'll get it right, like that. And I'm just going to sew through the top hole of that next center bead. So it's the green one. Just holding it down with my finger. So I've just put a Bordeaux color right there. Do that again, 11-0, the Bordeaux, and an 11-0 through the next green one. I think I'm going to have to pick it up now, like that. Okay, better. Again, 11-0, Bordeaux, SuperDuo, 11-0 through the next one, just holding my thumb on it so it doesn't pull it out of shape. And you want to make sure all these beads have the open hole in the center, like that. 11-0, Bordeaux, SuperDuo, 11-0, sewing through, just make sure that's upright, this green one, the 11-0, the Bordeaux, SuperDuo, just to attach this last group on. So you see what happens? They all sort of come into the center. Let me move my stop bead out of the way. So you want to sew around until you come to the next center bead, which for me is the Bordeaux bead, like that. I'm going to pull, and I want to make sure that all my beads are kind of popping in the center, like that, like that. Okay. Whoops, like that. I hope that was in frame. And then I'm just, at any point, if you think you need to reinforce, you can go around again and reinforce, you know, each round. So far I'm okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm exiting here. I'm going to just reverse direction, like that, by sewing through the top hole of the SuperDuo I'm exiting. And pull, like that. And then I'm going to take an 11-0 and sew all these SuperDuos together. So the Bordeaux SuperDuos, just putting an 11-0, sewing through the next one, 11-0, sew through the next one, 11-0, sew through the next one. Make sure that you're sewing through that top hole. And then one more to connect everybody right here, and just going through the 11-0 and the SuperDuo after that, just to make sure everybody's connected. Okay, like that. So this is what we have so far. So I'm just going to let you get to this point, and then when we come back, we'll work our way to the outside and we'll embellish the outside. Okay, we're back. So I am exiting the bottom of one of the Bordeaux SuperDuos, and as I said, if you need to reinforce, well, you just go around your beads again, like this, if you feel like it needs to be a little tighter. Like that. And I want you to exit one of the Bordeaux beads. So you're exiting this bottom hole of this Bordeaux bead, SuperDuo, sew through the top hole. So reversing direction. Okay. Now we're going to sew through, so we're exiting here, we're going to sew through this 11-0 and the green SuperDuo, so that's the SuperDuo, that middle one right there. I'm going to sew through the top of that SuperDuo we're exiting and the one right next to it here, right there. Oops, don't get your thread caught there, and then through this one. So we kind of snaked around a little bit so that we can get to the top so we can add some more beads. So just get that done and then we'll continue. Okay, so our thread is exiting one of my top beads here. So I'm going to pick up my bicone, my 3mm bicone, and I'm going to sew through the next SuperDuo. Then I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs, and I'm going to sew through the Firepolished bead. Not the 11-ohs, just that Firepolished bead, like that. 2 11-ohs, sew through the next SuperDuo. 3mm bicone, the next SuperDuo, 2 11-ohs, through the next Firepolish, 2 11-ohs, through the next SuperDuo. Okay, you're going to do that a couple more times to get the last 2 bicones and the 11-ohs on. So get that done and come on back and we'll continue. Okay, so I'm coming down to the end. I'm just finishing putting on my last 2 11-ohs. So I'm going to sew through this SuperDuo, the bicone next to it, and the SuperDuo, like that. I'm going to make a little turn, and I'm going to go down these 2 11-ohs and the Firepolish, and then these 2 11-ohs, like that. Now I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs, Firepolish, and 2 11-ohs. I'm going to just sew back through this whole line of beads. So the 2 11-ohs Firepolish, the 2 11-ohs. I'm going to go back up just through the 2 11-ohs and the Firepolish bead. Okay, this is what we have so far. So this is going to set us up for putting another unit on. So just get to this point and then meet me back here and we'll add another unit together. Okay, we're back. So now we have to add on another unit. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to pick up 1 11-oh. Then you're going to pick up your 3 SuperDuos. So I'm picking up my bronze, my green, and my bronze. And I'm going to pick up my 11-oh, Firepolish 11-oh. That's what I have so far. Now I'm going back to my SuperDuos, bronze, green, bronze, 11-oh, Firepolish, 11-oh. I'm going to drop those down. So now I have 2 groups of the SuperDuos and 2 groups of the Firepolish. Going back to the SuperDuos, so bronze, green, bronze, 11-oh, Firepolish, 11-oh. I'm going to drop those down. So now I have 3 groups of my SuperDuos and 3 groups of my Firepolish. I'm going to go back and pick up my bronze, my green, and my bronze SuperDuo and drop those down. And then so altogether we're going to have 4 groups of the SuperDuos and 3 groups of the Firepolish, and then pick up 1 11-oh and sew through the other side of that Firepolish bead that you're exiting to put on another unit. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now I'm just going to go around and reinforce this unit. So I'm just going to do this off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So here I've reinforced and I've pushed my little center beads in towards the opening here. Now I'm just going to reverse direction by sewing through the bottom hole of that green SuperDuo. I'm going to pick up an 11-oh, my Bordeaux SuperDuo, and 11-oh. I'm going to sew through the next one. 11-oh, Bordeaux, 11-oh, through the next one, just like we've been doing. So I'm going to go through my last one, plus a couple of beads after. Like that. Just to kind of pull everybody together. Alright, so just get to that point, and then when we get back, we'll continue. Okay, so now I'm exiting the bottom of a Bordeaux bead, you know, the center beads. I'm just going to reverse direction. And I'm going to put an 11-0 in between each of my Bordeaux beads. There, and I'm going to reinforce all the way around the interior beads and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So I've reinforced and I've gone all the way around and I've come out the top here, you know, of this Bordeaux bead, the one that's sort of facing the bottom here. Just trying to place the thread so that when we get done reinforcing, it will be easy to add the next unit on without too much sewing around. So I'm exiting here. I'm just going to sew through the bottom of that same one. I'm going to sew through the 11-0 and the green one, and through this green one and this one, through the top to reverse direction. And now I'm going to start embellishing. 3mm bicone. Two 11-0s. Through the next Firepolished bead. Two 11-0s through the SuperDuos. Bicone through the next SuperDuos, two 11-0s through the Firepolish, two 11-0s through the next SuperDuos, $3mm bicone in the corner. And now what we're going to do here is we're not going to put any beads on the needle. We're just going to sew through these two right here. Just forget about this one and this one. We're going to sew through these two and the Firepolish bead. Like that. And then these two on the other end of the Firepolish bead. So that's that little line of Firepolish and 11-0s we put on. Just turning my piece, and then I'm going to go directly through this SuperDuos, and it looks like it's not going to fit, but see what happens when I pull it? It just makes it sort of turns, sets those beads in place, and it's just perfect. Okay, so 3mm bicone through this guy, like that. Two 11-0s through the Firepolish, there we go. Two 11-0s through the SuperDuos and the Bicone in the corner, through the SuperDuos, the 11-0. I love it because it's like, you know, going around in circles. I'm dizzy. Through the Firepolish and the two 11-0s, like that. Let's see, how do we look? Oops. Looks like I got my thread caught here a little. Can I straighten it out? You straighten it out? Yeah. So I had my thread caught on my corner and I didn't realize it. I'm just glad that it, you know, it went through. So here I'm going to a little pull. And we'll set up just for the next round. Two 11-0s, Firepolish, 2 11-0s through these guys, just like before, through these two, got a little knot, there we go, and then down through these two and the fire polish. Okay, so this is what I have. I have my 2 units on. They look great. So you're just going to continue doing that until you have the number of units on that you need to make your bracelet fit. Now, when you end, don't put this last 2 11-0s fire polish 11-0, just like that. End it like that. See how it is here? So end it just like that. If we need to add that on because you need a little more length, you can do that. But right now, we're just going to end it at that point. All right? But that's when you end the bracelet. But as you're adding units on, you're going to, you have these 2 fire polish in between. All right, so keep going. And then when you're done, come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back for a second. I just wanted to just give you a little hint here. So, we're doing right angle weave here. So every time, in case you don't, you're not aware, that every time you're putting on a new unit, like one time you're going through the top of these beads to attach the unit, and then the next time you're going through the bottom to attach. So your thread will kind of be going in different directions each time you attach a unit. So the only reason that makes a difference is when you're coming out of, when you finish putting on the interior beads, I just want to make sure that you're exiting one of these, the interior beads, in the place where it's going to be easiest to add the next unit on, and I mentioned that earlier, right? So when you were doing the last unit, the thread was actually going in this direction, so you added it here, so we started somewhere around here. So because I'm going this way now, I'm just going to sew through the beads until I get to this top bead. So before, when we were going in the other direction, we came through this bead. Now, if you don't do that and you just continue on, it doesn't matter with the embellishment. It's just like with the embellishment, you'll end up, like when you finish putting it all on, you might end up over here, and that way you'll have to sort of snake around till you get to the side again. So I'm just trying to give you like an advance notice of a good place to exit your thread so that you will be closest to this edge. So when my thread is going in this direction, so see here, I'm coming out here, I'm going this way, I want to reverse and go through the top one here. I know that's confusing. It's just sort of this weird thing about right angle weave that always happens. All right, so here I'm coming through the top. Okay, and then I'm going to, so I'm exiting the Bordeaux bead. I'm just going to sew through, just like I did before, the 11-0, the green one in the corner, in the center one here, and then through here, through the copper bead, and then here, so then I can start my embellishment. And the reason I have it, I did it this way is because when I'm done with it, I will have finished this side already, so I'll be going all the way around, coming back to here, and then I can just add my connection for the next unit on. Honestly, if you come out one of the other beads, it doesn't really matter. You just snake your way around until you get to these side beads again. But this is just sort of a little tip for, connecting the units in a way that will just be the easiest. All right, I hope that wasn't too confusing. All right, so carry on, and I'll see you when you're done with your units. Okay, we're back. So I made a mini bracelet, and we're going to put the clasp on. So I've ended it the same. I didn't put that extra row on right here. That's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to just try to straighten out my needle a little bit. So here I have my clasp, and I want the ring on my clasp facing this direction. So I put a loop. I put a jump ring on it. And the way you can do a little length on the bracelet too is you can add, I did the same thing for the toggle bar, but you can add more rings on. So if it needs to be like this one, I added an additional ring on. So here's that one, and here's the second one. You could add 2 or 3 on, you know, to give you, you know, to make your the bracelet size perfect. All right, so what we're going to do is going to pick up an 11-0, a fire polish, and I'm going to go right through the jump ring, and I'm just going to pause you for a second because my cat wants out, so I'm going to let him out of my room. Okay, so I let Andrew out. Andrew is the cat. I didn't name him Andrew. He came with that name when we adopted him. So isn't it funny how they'll sit with you all day, but as soon as you close the door, they just want out. So I had to let him out. All right, so where were we? 11-0, fire polish, through the ring, fire polish, 11-0, through these two, and the fire polish bead. See, that's what that looks like. Now you want to push that ring in, you don't want it hanging like there where it's holding on to where the string is up against it. You want to push that ring in between the beads, and it's a pretty big ring. It's probably about 6 millimeter, so the beads will sit right in there, and it'll stay there so that the thread, it won't be hanging on the thread. All right, so I'm exiting the fire polish. I'm going to sew through the 2 11-0s underneath the fire polish. Just going around now. I'm going to pick up an 11-0. I just popped one in here. You don't have to. And go through all the beads again. Through this one, this 11-0. Now I'm going to put the same 11-0 on this side, and I'm just going to go through all the beads again. There's plenty of room in there. You can always go down a needle size if you need to. So you can do that one more time if you like. You can leave that 11-0 off, doesn't really matter. Going through one more time. Like that. And then I'm going to sew these threads in by going through all the beads, going through the fire polish one last time, and then through. I'm going to work my way through the SuperDuos, tie a few half hitch knots, and now we have a nice ending on there. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. But what you can do on this side is you can add more than one ring. You have to check and see how easily it will go through your toggle, you know, your loop. So generally you need a couple of rings. So you might need another one on this side, another jump ring on this side. But you know, if you do, you can always add it. You know, it won't be a big deal to add it. But you're just going to do the exact same thing on this side. You know, put on a 11-0 fire polish, go through the ring, fire polish 11-0, go around, etc., etc. And I'm going to go do that off camera, and then come on back, and we'll finish up. Okay, back for one more second. All right, so you're doing this end with the toggle bar the exact same way, but my thread wasn't exiting in the right place. And you know, I know that if your thread isn't exiting in the right place, you know you want to get it around there, but just in case, so I'm actually exiting this SuperDuo here, so I'm just going to sew through this 11-0, the fire polish. I'm just going to pop over to this guy, and now I'm going to add my 11-0 fire polish through the ring, fire polish 11-0, just like we did before. Going to go through everybody like that. Like I said, you can, you know, and then you're just going to reinforce. Make sure you pop that down there, and you're going to reinforce it. I would probably add another ring on. That looks very close to me. Another ring or two. You can always take one out. Okay. So just get that done. I'll finish off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up. Okay, we're done. So here are our bracelets. Here's our mini. I just love them. I think they came out so great, and just kind of fun to play with the SuperDuos, right? And the and some fire polish. I didn't mention that actually this one has 4mm pearls in between, so you can really play with all these sort of embellishing embellishment beads. All right, so I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.